Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. Well, my guest was originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia. He now lives in London, Ontario. He is the owner operator at Transformation DJ and Karaoke Services. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Baxter. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hello, everyone.
So before I talk to you about your business, I just want to get a little background from you. When did you move from Nova Scotia?
Last year in March on the 13th, so that would be 2021, yeah.
Okay, so what was it like growing up in Halifax?
It was great. I was a Navy kid, so Dad was in the military on one of the destroyers, the Canadian Armed Forces, and we were well looked after. We're in a military base. Everything, military kids have everything they want from, all the sports activities and musical and everything. They're very well. So and I lived right on the harbor. At the time, you don't really realize that's a blessing, right? You're right on the ocean. But we had forests to play in by the water. I fished right off the wharf. It was quite a nice little upbringing.
So what? Yeah. So what brought you to Ontario?
Well, my daughter is up here with the two grandkids. So I worked for the city of Halifax in the water department.
Right.
And I retired a couple of years ago, and I thought, well, I may as well move up where my daughter and grandkids are in Woodstock, London, Ontario.
So nice and close, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now tell me about your business. When did you decide to open up a DJ and karaoke business?
Yeah, well, it was about 20 years ago. And I don't know, I just used to go to karaoke's every Wednesday night. I thought it was a cool thing. And then I bought some discs. So I bring my own CDG karaoke disc to the host show. And then I start buying speakers and stuff. And then my first kind of gig was I had some Christmas discs. So I went to a church Bible study and we sang Christmas songs. That was my first official gig at a Bible study on Wednesday night. We sang Christmas songs and I had all the gear. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of audience do you get?
For my show now, it's quite diverse. Like I've performed in everything from the Metro Center in Halifax on the concourse there. You know, when they have the hockey game, the people would come out for their hot dogs and they would sing karaoke. And that was kind of exciting. Yeah. That's quite a big venue there. And then all the way from someone's living room, I do a small little soiree karaoke night or a DJ night. And yeah, so quite diverse, all different types of people from 90-year-olds to 5-year-olds.
Okay. Now, have you ever get people who get on the karaoke, start singing and you have trouble getting them off?
Not usually, because I just call up the next person and they get all flustered and then they go. We can always turn them down, right? So when they're singing in the mic and if they're kind of drunk and they don't get off, I just turn off the mixer and they're like, they got dead air anyway. Don't have to do that too often.
So do you ever get up and do any yourself?
Yes, it's a responsibility of the host primarily. 90% of hosts do sing. And in order to kick off the show, we will welcome everybody to the karaoke for the night. And then I'll say, here's a little brown-eyed girl for you or whatever. And that'll open the show. It's quite popular. And then you usually have some slips coming out because people are looking at your karaoke book. And then they're picking out songs and they bring the slips up to your, while you're singing and you just put them in order and you set up a rotation of your singers. And if you get quite well established, there's in maybe a bar or whatnot, then you won't have to sing at all, really, because there'll be 50 singers before you even start lined up to sing.
Wow, that's a good crowd. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you do this solo or do you ever hire help?
Not too often. I'm very perfectionist, so everything has to be plugged in and set up a certain way. I'll test it. So I just maybe 1 out of 20 gigs, I might have an assistant. If there's stairs involved, of course, because stairs is the big challenge of us DJs getting the gear in. So performing the show is pretty easy for me, but sometimes there's a lot of gear, especially if it's a wedding or something. And I will have a helper to help me along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you decide what songs to incorporate?
Well, basically, it's really up to the client. Really, I have quite a diverse range of DJ songs and karaoke. So I will open my books. Luckily, I'm one of the few guys that has a book, and I just open up my book and I say, "Come on up, guys, read through it, pick your songs, whether it's DJ or karaoke." And they seem to like that because they're actually telling me what to play. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it makes it much easier for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That way, yeah. Because I mean, a lot of DJs, they play what they want, but they're not going to be in business too long. The DJ plays what he wants.
Yeah.
Because the young people don't know that the young 20-year-old DJs, a lot of them don't know. They just play their own stuff.
And if you have a diverse audience, you want to have diverse music, right?
Well, yes, I often say I have everything from Hello Dolly, 1940s, right up to the guy called The Weeknd here in Toronto, and he's right cutting edge. So I have a lot of music there in between all that. So yeah.
Very good. I like that very much. Now, what happened during COVID? Were you shut down, or were you able to do a few events?
Yeah, I was shut down, but over the 25 years that I've been doing this, there's not a lot of time to look at the gear and tighten all the bolts and everything, because it's so I mean, you're pretty well going flat out. So I've been doing that for 20 years, and it gave me time to think what I want to do to change the business, to make it more modern or whatever. And actually, as we speak right now, I'm loading about 20,000 songs into another laptop, a backup laptop. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that'll take a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm looking at about 3 weeks steady, and not a lot of sleep, but I'm getting it done anyway.
Do you have a gig coming up?
I have two, actually. Now, I've been in the game for a long time, so my market is going to be seniors now. And I've contacted, during the COVID, I dropped off a lot of cars at the senior centers here in London, Ontario.
Right.
And luckily, they called me the other day and said, can you come in July for, they're going to do a theme. I think the first one is going to be a disco, a couple hours of disco for the seniors.
Right.
So they're going to get dressed up in all their 80s garb. That will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not karaoke, just DJ. And then I've got another one for October 27th, and it's going to be Woodstock. They're going to dress up. Remember Woodstock back in the 60s was a big event?
Yes.
They're going to pretend they're flower children and whatnot.
Well, that sounds fun.
It's going to be, yeah, I think so,
yeah. Well, good for you. Now, I don't know how big London is, but do you travel outside of London to do gigs, or do you stay within London itself?
Well, my last, I moved here about a year ago, so these will be, actually, I've done my daughter, who's 30 years old, I've done her birthday party just in the COVID there. It was, everybody's allowed outside during the COVID anyway. So I did that, and I got a good response from the campground owner. So that was my first official gig in Ontario. So,
excellent.
So now I got two coming up. So, and I just made up my signs, and I should, for my car and that. So I'm going to drive around, and hopefully people will read the phone number and say, hey, how much is it? Can you do my family gathering?
Very good.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I hope it works well for you. I'm just thinking, like, I'm from New Brunswick, and on June 1st, I'm just heading out to Montreal and then on to New Brunswick to visit family. And nice. What I miss most is the lobster,
Oh my, me too, eh? Yeah.
I was just wondering, adjusting to the food. It's an adjustment, isn't there?
Well, the fish is I mean, it's expected. It's not as good, right? Nothing like fresh out of the water.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But it's pretty good here. I'm not really too picky about my food. I notice there's a lot of vegetarians here in London, Ontario. Oh, so they're more healthier. There's more health consciousness in Ontario, which is good. You'll see the 80-year-olders driving their bike, the 90-year-olders. Oh, and there's a really nice spot where they do karaoke for the 80 and 90-year-olders. They run it, and it's at the Eagles Club. There's a little pun for you guys, whatever they call it, a plug. It's in London, Ontario. There's the Eagles Club. They're always looking for new people, and it's amazing. So these people, a lot of them were in bands in their younger days, in their 40s, 50s. They were in bands. So here they are, 80 years old, still loving their music, and they're still entertaining each other. It's quite wonderful.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I was just wondering, Ontario, you're not so far. Like with me being in BC, one of the things I had to learn was like different expressions that they have, or some of the things I'd never heard. They talk clicks for miles, and it's like we use the term clicks. Right.
I noticed the term. There's certain words that they stretch out here in Ontario, right? And it's interesting, and I picked up on it. And of course, they think I have an accent, of course, a Nova Scotia accent, which, of course, I don't know. I don't understand that, but I guess I do.
Well, I think, if I think correctly, like Easterners have a more clipped speech.
Right.
Whereas Ontario, they tend, I think, like you said, they tend to drag out the words a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right?
It's elongated. Yeah, the words are elongated here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they're hearing, and that's what you're hearing.
What I really like about it, because I didn't know if I'd fit in here, musically and whatnot, is the beautiful parks in London, Ontario. They're quite world class. Right. And they really put a lot of money into their parks. And during the COVID, that was a blessing to walk through these beautiful parks. Mm-hmm. And also, this is a real rock city. I didn't know that each city has their own vibe. Halifax, of course, has the maritime clique, the Celtic music and all that. But this is a real rock city. So when I play rock, they really like the rock here. So it's just a matter of getting your head around where you're at and what they like. Yeah. And I noticed when I go to karaoke here, other people's shows, is that they have some amazing rock singers here. Like, how rock can really be hard on your vocals? London, Ontario has just amazing, talented rock singers. And you can see them at a place called Winks on, what is it? Sunday night at Winks, downtown London, Ontario. Oh my gosh. It's like, I'm not really a big heavy metal fan, but I appreciate how they can scream it out. And if you want to see some good heavy metal singers, karaoke, Sunday night at Winks, London, Ontario.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of different musicians, with different genres, and one of the things I found, a lot of them play have a style, a varied style of music, right? Right. Like from jazz.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I say from jazz to rock, whatever it is, and it's like, wow, I love that.
And being like, as you become, when you're a young DJ, you're quite limited, and then but as you work up. The idea usually is to become a wedding DJ, which is at the pinnacle. Of course, you get paid more money for a wedding, so this is where you get your broad scope of knowledge. You do all your hard work when you're younger, and then when you go into that wedding venue and you see grandma, by this time you know what grandma wants and you know what the 7-year-old wants, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of, that's the idea of a wedding DJ, where we have that value where we know exactly what to play. Whereas a 20-year-old wouldn't even have a clue what to play for grandma.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I went to a wedding, was one of my relatives actually, where she married somebody from the Middle East. So they played a lot of like North American type music. Then they would play the style of music from the Middle East. And I thought how, it was just perfect, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody from both sides of the family got to enjoy music that they liked, also got to hear other people's music.
Yes, I've had the privilege to do some weddings. It was from, I think it was Egypt, actually. And I got to hear their music. And a lot of times they'll just give you the music to play. Yeah. You put it in your machine, and you can see how wonderfully they love their music as well. And of course, it increases my knowledge of music, right? So it's good. Yeah, and so I'm always trying to add to my knowledge of music, because every crowd is different, and that's why you never get bored. I didn't ever get bored with this job, because each crowd is different and the music is always different, and the setups of the venues, and it's just it's quite an interesting, I guess it's a profession for me now. I'm retired from my government job. So this is what I do. If people ask me what I do, I said I'm a DJ.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And music is universal and it touches everybody, right? In some ways.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, that's great. Sorry, go ahead.
That's good. Yeah, so that's my mandate right now. At almost 60 years old, I have this vast amount of knowledge and expertise. And but as you get older, you need a little help. It's heavy gear you're hauling in. So my ideology now is to find a partner to help me out with this. A young fella, and he will be my apprentice. And maybe someday he will buy my company and he'll take it over. Who knows?
That would be perfect, right?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're going to end the interview. Just stay on camera. No, just stay on camera. I'm going to talk to the audience again and say goodbye to everybody. I hope you enjoyed listening to Steve Baxter and what he does for his music. And he really sounds like he enjoys what he does. And that, for me, interviewing somebody who likes what they do is always such well, it's magical. I just love it. Anyway, thank you for watching the show, and I hope you watch his video and share it. And if you're in the area and you want to learn to be his apprentice, contact him. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you,
everybody, and peace out.
a sense of community. Chilliwack's a place to be, a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.